Onstage, Johnston to Jim Tom. 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 Tom and Jim.
Tonight, we welcome Ben Morrison to the stage of the Phoenix Theater. Ben was previously on this show back in 2016 with his band, the Brothers Comatose, but tonight he brings us a collection of solo work that's more personal and perhaps more reflective of the man himself. Tonight, we'll go into this new collection of music with Ben, and later he'll play some of those songs. Please welcome back to the Phoenix, Ben Morrison.
Welcome.
Oh my God!
Hey, thanks you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
It's awesome to be back in the Phoenix right now on the stage.
At the Phoenix. It's huge to have you back.
Man,
Yeah.
It goes way back.
It does. It goes way back, and your family goes way back. You guys are Petaluma crew, more or less. And,
Yeah. Man, I saw a movie in this theater
Yes.
before it was.
I thought
what
that's what
now.
I was going to do for all of my life here, was show movies.
Whoa.
That's what I came to do.
Dang.
Failed miserably.
Well, and Petaluma's better off for it.
And we're glad that you did.
Yeah.
I am too.
What was the movie you saw?
It was Beverly Hills Cop
Beverly Hills
2
Wow.
or 1. I don't remember. It was
He
one.
was
It
probably here that
I was
night,
here. I
actually,
was
yeah.
definitely here.
was something with Nick Nolte in it, actually.
And here you are now, back 2019 on the stage
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
My God. So, Brothers Comatose, the project that I would say like most people who know of you musically know you for,
Yeah.
it's been a remarkable success. And I would say that project has changed your life. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And yet here you are, you're making a solo album now. And so I think the best place to start is why make a solo album and why do it at this juncture?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it has changed my life. It took over my life, really. The band is a little over 11 years old now. And before that, it was my brother and I, Alex, who plays banjo. We were doing some duo stuff and some trio stuff with another guy, and but the band itself has been like 11 years going, and we toured our asses off. Well, for like the first year or two, it was like 40 shows in a year, and then we just like went like 120, and then like averaged that for like the next 9 years.
And it's funny because that's not what life looked like before, obviously.
No.
So that required just a totally rewiring of everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I knew that's what I wanted to do, and we all just were excited, and we wanted to do it. We bought a van, like a shitty old Chevy van, and we wanted to go for it, and we booked our first tour and everything, and it was great. We've had a blast doing it, and it was cool, to see things grow. We worked our asses off, and it was cool. There was like, it wasn't like that kind of thing. It was like a slow build for sure, but it's nice to like go back to a place and then have there be a larger crowd than there was the time before, and then slowly but steadily like just growing. That's like super satisfying, and yeah, I don't know.
And just all the friends that you make too. You go back to these
yeah.
different towns and slightly more people. I mean, it's just funny because you're a Petaluma guy, right? You grew up in Petaluma.
Yeah.
And so your mid to late 20s was when this band started.
Yeah.
And
totally.
so, I mean, it's not like you did this at 18, 19. It's not like you didn't have an adult life.
Yeah.
And then the
exactly.
music took over. It just, you did whatever you did before this project. And then this project absolutely took over, became your identity, became the thing that people knew you for, became like a source of pride, a source of purpose. And my God, that's a beautiful thing. But then like when things start to change and when you start to get older and maybe you can't tour as much, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that's when things start to get kind of fuzzy, I think, inside you, or get a little wild inside you.
Well, I mean, things are super easy when you're in your 20s and you don't have anything tying you down, no children or like a 9-to-5 job or a mortgage or a wife or anything like that. Touring's a lot easier. You can just do whatever you want. You could go away, and if you come back with any money in your pocket, you're stoked. Like that's
Ahead
amazing.
of the game.
Yeah. But then, as you get older, you just start to get more responsibility under your belt, and things just, a number of things. Anything could tie you down. But the band, we did it, and people started having kids, and that changes things too. I mean, all of a sudden, like they take precedence, and that's like, of course, right? Like the child becomes the most important thing, and
the road gets tougher to do.
The road gets tougher. You go away and you miss your children, and the money thing is definitely a big factor too. Like if you don't come back with money, then
what are we doing?
What
in
the
your
hell are
20s,
you
like
doing?
the adventure is payment enough.
Oh yeah,
But in your 30s and 40s, not so much.
We used to play for free beer. It's just like whatever. We didn't care at all, and and so definitely the focus changes as you go, and not just I'm not putting that on people that had kids as well. It's just like you get older and you're like, well, okay, like what am I doing with my life? Am I just gonna like go out and drink and play for free beer and then come back with no money, and then like, wait, what are you doing? Like what is you want a sense, like music is everything to me, right? But like the sense of purpose behind it becomes apparent, I guess, somewhere in there, and I think that plays into your decisions in general.
Yeah, and how you start mapping out your future.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just Brothers Comatose. It's not just a job. It's not just children. I mean, it's like this is life. A lot of life is different eras. And you set out to maybe start a family with somebody. Then the kids grow up. Then you kind of grieve that, and then you don't know what the next step is. And hopefully you figure it out. Brothers Comatose. It's still around. It's still doing things. Everybody's having a good time. People love it. But there was a shakeup in membership.
Yeah.
And you lost a couple people because of some of these forces we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that affected you super deeply.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, Gio, who has worked at the Phoenix and used to play here back in the day. And he's a good buddy of mine since 8th grade. And our mandolin player, Ryan, who was in the band for over 6.5 years or something like that. Both of them like left at the same time basically. And it was just like shocking, to myself, like to all of us really. But like I had kind of like led the charge from the beginning and pushed and like did, put a lot of work in behind the scenes, and, just put every last ounce of energy and effort and guts and soul into that band, and
it paid off.
Oh yeah, I guess, yeah, totally. And I'm not like upset about it, like I'm happy to have done all of that, and but it is like shocking when two longtime members of the band decide to leave, and then you're just like, oh damn, like what do we do? Like what do we do next? And actually there was like Phil, the fiddle player who had 2 kids also, was like, he was potentially leaving also because, touring is just hard. And all of a sudden you add 2 children in that scenario, and it's just hard. It's hard to be away from kids. And so Alex and I, my brother, we were looking at each other like, what the hell do we do? And then, Phil kind of changed his mind, and I guess had realized like, okay, we had a good thing going, and maybe it's we don't want to like jump off the boat just yet or whatever. But anyway, so it's super shocking. Ryan and Gio, I love those guys, and I totally understand all the reasons behind them taking off, but still it's just like, oh my God.
I would imagine it'd be shocking to experience that shock. Like I bet you didn't think that you would take it so seismically, Yeah. I don't know. I think about it. I think anyone listening to this, like you don't have to have a band. Just think about anything that's been in your life for 10 years. And then it's like the threat of it not being around anymore. It's just jarring.
Well, it's like your dream, right?
Yeah.
Like your dream is there. It's like, okay, it's like rising. And then all of a sudden, like it's like your dream's a balloon, and somebody like shoots a little thing into you, like, oh shit.
And some of it is just like fear kind of blurring your vision. But like I think you felt like you were watching maybe the end of Brothers Comatose.
Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely thought about that. I mean, because with the potential of 3 guys leaving, it's like, well, we can't continue. I mean, that's just crazy to try to find 3 new people and then expect fans to be like, I mean, even 2 is hard. But
we're weaving a greater narrative here, which is this made you feel things.
Oh, of course. I mean,
and you wrote to me that you don't necessarily deal with emotions.
Oh, yeah, terribly.
The best.
Oh, terribly. Yeah.
If you could expand on that just a touch.
Oh, for sure.
Why do you feel like you're terrible at dealing with emotions?
I don't know. I don't know. It's not like I grew up in like one of those like, oh yeah, walk it off kind of households or anything like that. You know, my parents are, they talk about things, and you know, it's, I don't know where that came from. Maybe, you know, I went to Catholic school. Yes. Let's blame it on Catholic school.
St. Vinny's.
Yeah, man.
I was baptized in that church.
Yeah. Well, yeah, half Petaluma was, I think.
Yeah. We, you know, my family, we're like 3 blocks from St. Vincent Church right now. We're a Petaluma family too. We go to the church when we welcome people into this world, and then when we send them off. Yeah. That's pretty much our relationship with St. Vincent's Church. But anyway, I think that's fine. You can blame them. How does it manifest itself though? I mean, you say you have a tough time with it. Is it a thing where you just like start spinning out in your head?
Well, no, not at all. It's funny for me personally. Like, I don't realize that it's happening. Like, I have a tendency to just be like very focused on something, or needing to focus on something, and just like burying myself in work, really, like to ignore all feelings and emotion and things like that. Yeah. And so as soon as this happened, I immediately thought like, oh damn, well if this band doesn't continue, like I needed something to call my own, I think, you know, something under my name that I could just like totally dive into completely, and like work on just like stay busy, work on the music, and do something different than Brothers Comatose. You know, because that's musically speaking, it's, you know, it's a string band, bluegrassy string band, so you're kind of confined by those sonic elements, and so, you know, there's a number of factors. Like, I wanted to do something different. I needed to like focus on that 100%. And we decided that we would have a break in the band regardless of what happened.
And in relationships too. There's a lot of parallels here.
Totally, man.
But like, you know, nobody breaks up anymore.
No.
You know, it's always like, we're going to go on a break and then we're going to revisit it.
Yeah.
And that's probably what it felt like. You probably were like, okay, we're going on a break. I know what that means.
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So many parallels between being in a band and a relationship. It's insane. But yeah. So I just wanted to dive straight into this project, and like I said, have something to call my own. I felt powerless, I think, at the point where they left, and this thing that I had put all my energy into could crumble, and I'm just like, oh, I can't do anything, you know, like, and yeah, I didn't know what to do.
Okay, but in the absence of having something to do, right? You say you now need to keep busy, which I sort of identify with. It's like, what happens? Like, what happens if you didn't have a big Ben Morrison album? So, I mean, you know that it doesn't feel good, but I'm just wondering if you can put it into words.
I don't know. I think I have the personality. I couldn't just like go on vacation and chill out or whatever. Like, you know, I couldn't just like read all those books I've been meaning to read. Like, it's just, I have to stay busy. Like, or else it's like a different kind of crazy, you know?
Okay. So, and then the or else is you just...
I don't know. I mean, I've never gone down that path really. I think
you just know it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe I would drink more or take drugs. I don't really know. Or maybe not. Or maybe I'd just like get really into gardening or something like that.
Yeah, you'd find something. I think that's a good way to put it. You'd find something. God willing.
But it keeps coming back. What you do is you write songs. I don't think you're ever going to stop doing that.
I hope not.
And from the writing of those songs, another project's always going to spring.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever
that's
happens.
what we learned, yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like this project then, it had like 2 things sort of dovetailed quite nicely. Like, not only did it like give you something to do, sense of purpose, but also you're like feeling all these things. Feeling all these things.
Yeah.
And so you now have a project to kind of like sort through that. And here we are, the Ben Morrison album.
Yeah.
Which is coming out at some point.
Totally.
What is it?
August 30th.
August 30th.
Yeah.
Okay. And does it have a title?
It's called Old Technology.
Old Technology.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is this is a very personal record, and you would kind of, I think, process some of these things you were feeling in the making of this record, whether you meant to or not.
Definitely.
have you reflected on the effect that like making such a personal record has had on you and your ability to like deal with emotions?
It hasn't quite hit me yet, but I mean, until you reached out and you're like, oh yeah, let's get deep about this thing. I'm like, oh yeah, oh my God. And I guess as I don't think about those things until like people ask me about them, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, that's where that comes from. Or it's all, it's kind of surprising. It's like, oh God, yeah, that's what I've been feeling this entire time, and that's the reason, and that's the path I went down to find that thing. Yeah.
I guess I would ask before we move on from your emotional things.
Rescue.
Yeah, emotional rescue. It's a personal question, but like, do you get frustrated with yourself about when emotionally tough stuff starts hitting hard, and like your reaction to that?
You mean like lack of reaction?
And I guess that's a question. Is it a lack of reaction? I mean, do you just kind of shut down on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
you kind of wall up and you just put your head down and get through it.
Yeah. I mean, it's, something I've been trying to work on, and I've got a fiance, and it's good to be able to work through your problems, right? You got to be able to talk about stuff, or else it's just going to like eat you alive, or you start gardening a lot or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. So you say you don't always want to go into deep things on all the songs, but sometimes you'll talk about them. There's a story about a stalker.
Oh yeah, man. Oh man. Okay. All right, we'll go into it. This is actually I do tell this one from time to time on stage, but
well, this is going to be the extended cut,
Okay.
And this is for a song, I Hope You're Not Sorry, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so it goes like this. I had a stalker, and things got kind of weird. I had to file a police report and everything, and she would make strange comments on Facebook and things like that, and would name my girlfriend at the time, or by name, and would say really, really strange things. It was like, okay, well, this is just internet stuff. It was weird. And then she started like driving by my house a lot, and that got super strange, right? And I still didn't feel like personally, physically threatened or anything like that, but people around me were like, dude, that's pretty weird. You should probably do something about that. So we filed a police report, and I haven't actually told this story, but I'm not going to name the name, but this was like in the height of like the, oh shit, this might be dangerous. Like, police got involved, and this like ex-police officer wanted to escort us to a show up in Arcata, because he's like, if she comes, like, I want to be ready, like. So this guy, he we're in Arcata, right? So it's like hippie central, and we're playing at Humbrew's, and so he thinks it's a great idea to dress up with like a Rasta cap with like fake hair on it, and he's got like guns all over him, right? Like strapped to his body, and he's like, hey man, like if I go down, he's like, grab this one right here and just start shooting. It was insane. But
where did you find this man?
It's kind of a long story. I don't really want to go into that, but it was a.
I'll say this. Okay, so it wasn't. The police didn't say like, I got a great guy.
No,
he's off. He's not on the force anymore, but he kind of does independent contractor work.
This is
a personal connection.
Ex-police officer just wanted to help out, and
he had a bodyguard for a while.
Yeah, we did have a bodyguard, a fake Rasta bodyguard.
Yeah. I mean, that's very funny. Jokes aside, though, like it got to the point where you did feel like, I don't know that we should necessarily expose ourselves to this person in a public place.
Yeah, I mean, I was never personally worried, but other people were like, okay, maybe be concerned about this. And
see, what I like about you is I feel like you kind of had a sense of humor about the whole thing.
I did. Yeah.
Like you're even smiling about it right now.
It's kind of funny. Well, it's okay. Like it's kind of scary, but it's also kind of an honor to have a stalker, right?
Now we're getting somewhere.
I mean, it really is. I think, and that really plays into the song too. But like, and it's you just have like the biggest fan ever. Is really what it is. It's like it only becomes stalkerish when it gets like super weird. But like, somebody that comes to all your shows and loves everything that you do and like comments on your stuff and like and is just into your whatever your thing. And it's a great feeling.
Yeah, you would like to have 100,000 of those.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's amazing.
The driving by the house we like less.
Yeah.
Did it ever? And you don't have to answer this if it's weird or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
like, did it ever progress past the driving by the house? Was the driving by the house the biggest red line that this person crossed?
It never got like confrontational.
Never knocked on your door.
Yeah, which is why I was never really that concerned about it. But so the next part of the story is like when she stops showing up to stuff, like all of a sudden you look out and she's not at your shows anymore and like doesn't comment on your stuff anymore. And then you have this like feeling of like what the hell is wrong with me now? That what is different? What have I done that like not even my stalker wants to like come to my shows anymore? Like that's a heartbreaking feeling right there, you know?
Wow.
And the listener should remember that feeling, because I feel like a theme we're going to talk about later on, that incident could reinforce some like questions you would have about yourself and the future and all that. I mean, if even your stalker isn't coming to your shows anymore.
Yeah, but wasn't that the object? Did you serve her with a
never like but like file the police report that this thing is happening, just to be aware. And they're like, you know, we can't really do anything unless she basically like tries to kill you.
Did you ever talk to this person?
No, like accidentally
person? bumped
into and like, oh, that's her. Okay, bye. Yeah. And I feel like she just felt safe at a distance and would just like had this picture in her mind of the situation that was different than the real situation. And it was strange.
I know there are some people on your side who probably won't like me asking this, but did you kind of find yourself stalking her a little bit after she stopped going to the shows?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, of course, like that's the obvious thing, right?
Yeah,
like,
well, that's what I would do. That's why I asked.
Be like,
where'd you go? Are you alive? I hope she's okay.
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah. I'm just like, oh my God. Well, what are you doing now? Who are you into then? But which is the next part of the story.
Okay.
So we go with the Brothers Comatose at the time. We play a festival on the other side of the world. And we're playing at this festival, and we're hanging out, drinking with all the musicians afterwards. And we met this dude, and super cool guy, great musician. And, we became like pretty quick buddies over beers or whatever. And he's like, oh man, you're pretty cool. I was like, yeah, pretty cool too. He's like, let's be friends on Facebook. And then he pulls out his phone, and he's like, yeah, type in Ben Morrison. And he types me, and he's like, we have a mutual friend. Oh my God.
She's back.
And so she had gone from me to him. He's like, dude, check out all these messages that I've been getting from this person, and just like started flipping through his phone and shows me all these messages. And it's just like a jumped from one ship to the other.
Was
and
he
like,
kind of nervous about it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet you can't tell us his band, can you?
No.
let's do
I'll
that.
tell you afterwards.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
But anyway,
did you feel a little heartbroken? Like when you find out that your ex has gotten married, like you haven't talked to the ex forever.
Totally.
And then it's like married with kids. It's like, what?
Well, partially heartbroken, partially relieved to know, like, hey, you know what? This guy's cool. At least it's like a cool dude. You know? Maybe,
exactly. Absolutely.
your new husband's a cool guy.
Cool. I wish it could have worked out.
Yeah.
It almost is like you were very down with having a stalker, but like your family didn't like your stalker girlfriend.
Yeah.
And you were pressured by them to have to lose her.
Yeah.
And that's a tragedy.
It was tragic. Yeah. It was absolutely. But it feels good to have closure.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I started writing the song before that whole incident happened, meeting the dude. And I was like, oh, it'd be kind of funny to write a song about like having a stalker and losing your stalker and like what happens. And then when I met the guy, I was like, oh my God. I even told him, I was like, this is like the bridge to my song that I've been working on. Wow. And it was just so serendipitous. It was ridiculous.
I hope someday the three of you all take a photo together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's my dream. You reflect on making bad choices, but not in life, but in the context of a relationship on another song. You talk about asking for forgiveness.
It's a song called Take Me, and it's like it's the acoustic jam on that one. We didn't play it today, but yeah, I've yet to play it live actually, but as I'm bad at talking about my feelings, I end up writing a few songs here and there about relationships and the when I started writing it, it was I had this like fictional character in my mind about this guy that keeps like fucking up in a relationship and then kind of needs to like ask for forgiveness to keep, because he wants to keep the relationship going. And I guess, you know, as I go through it, I'm like, I see like little bits of myself in there. Not that I like, you know, fucked up majorly or anything like that, and I need to ask for forgiveness from my current relationship or anything. But, you know, I think everybody's got a little bit of that in them. And you just, you know, we're human. We do stupid things, you know. It's part of living.
So you wrote the song. You started to see some overlap with the character and yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you feel like you learned about yourself in writing this song?
I don't know. You know, it's maybe like I feel like it's kind of like looking back at these last 11 years and seeing the party side of things, you know, because being in a band, it's I don't know of any other job where people expect you to drink on the job. Like, if you can tell me another job, I'm like really curious about this actually. Like, people expect you to party. You get free drinks on the rider. You know, backstage you show up and, I mean, for a little while there, Lagunitas was delivering 2 cases of beer to every show that we were playing, which was awesome and super fucking dangerous. And and like, people will hand you whiskey on stage. It's just like it's dangerous, you know, like. And so yeah, you can definitely take advantage of that, and it can get into you, you know, like it can kind of take over. So I think it was like partially me like looking back at all this time of doing that and being like, man, I can't do that all the time. That's not sustainable. Moving forward, like, something has to change, right? In order to maintain being, if you want to like continue doing this thing, then, you know, you have to change that, because you can't do that every day.
I thought that answer was going to be more tied to a relationship, and I think it's fine that it wasn't. But I do have to ask, because earlier we asked, what's the most difficult thing being in a band with Ben Morrison? What do you think the most difficult thing being in a relationship with Ben Morrison is? Oh,
exactly the same reason that I'm difficult in being in a band with, you know, like just working constantly.
Let's go. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. I need to do that. Slowing down is sometimes expected in a relationship.
Yeah. And it's just like when you play the role of like manager, even, you know, we have a manager, but like I'm still like doing a ton of stuff all the time, and it's like you can't really ever turn that off.
Yeah.
And I've always been like a hard worker and focused and wanting to do that, but like, and you know, I've had relationships where it's definitely taken its toll on those relationships, because it can easily take over. And so yeah, I can totally be a pain in the ass, because I'm just like, oh, let me just, you know, one more thing, and then 3 hours later, you know, I've completely ignored my partner, and like, you know. Luckily, she's in a band too, and she gets it.
I was going to ask, so you are engaged.
I am
to be
engaged.
Married soon. My God, right around the time of this album coming out, right?
Oh yeah, it's
all happening.
It's all so many.
It's all happening, and we're documenting it right now. So, what do you think changed? Is it the fact that you're with someone who understands that a little bit?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, she's really great at being like, you know what, like let's put the things down, and we can like turn it off every once in a while. And it really helps me, because she plays like the same role for her band, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we can totally turn it off and like enjoy ourselves, you know?
I love that, because I feel like she has the credibility where you believe that.
Yeah.
Whereas people in the past who don't have something like this are like, come on, it's okay, just come do this thing with me.
Yeah.
You're like, you don't understand.
Yeah, it's not like she's a furniture salesperson or whatever. She's like,
gardener.
Or a gardener, yeah. Like, oh, it'll be fine. You can wait a little while before you get back to those people or whatever. But yeah, I really do. I take it to heart, and I'm like, oh yeah, totally. It definitely hits deeper when she says it.
Yeah, you respect her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not that you haven't respected everyone, but we love them all.
Mm-hmm.
On another part of this album, you reflect on Alzheimer's.
Yeah. And that was just an interesting one. Like, I don't have a super personal relationship. I mean, not in my immediate family. Like, I've had girlfriends whose grandparents had Alzheimer's or whatever. This song like happened completely by accident. I think one day a story started happening in my mind. I'm like, oh, what about like writing a song from the perspective of somebody with Alzheimer's? Like, what would they say if they were like,
lucid at the moment.
Lucid, that's the word I was looking for. Totally. Like, okay, like what would, so,
Yeah.
and it's
Fascinating thought.
It's weird because the music it's not like a somber tune. It's like one of the more upbeat, like dancey songs on the album, which is, I guess I kind of like that too. Like, weird, sad songs, but like with upbeat music or like vice versa or whatever.
In this imagined character, how far along are they with Alzheimer's?
I guess it's to the point, I would say like somewhat gone from the people that are around them. But in their own mind, like I imagine this like you're lucid in your own bubble, right? Like you're with it, but like there's like a blockage or something like that between you and the outside world. It's like, hey, it's cool. Like I'm fine. Like don't worry about me. I'm sorry if like there's a disconnect or some weird thing that's happening between us, but like just know that I'm okay in here, So that was that. Yeah.
Do you sometimes fret about your own mind?
Oh, for sure, man.
Even at this point?
Yeah.
At the ripe age of, can I say it?
39 years
I don't
old.
want the stalkers to be disappointed if they think you're younger. But I mean, even at 39, you're like, God, how many things have I forgotten? And so that's it. I don't know. It seems like that's something that subliminally
oh man,
you're touching on in this album.
Oh, of course. Like you hear about it happening to other people, and you're just like, oh man, you don't want that to happen. You don't want to slip.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that's in there too. Thanks for bringing it out.
I feel like you're welcome. I feel like the slipping thing is like it's something you worry about on multiple parts of your life, because you've talked about like relevancy. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
And okay, to the longtime listener, person who's been here for a half hour or whatever, this is what I was referencing when we were talking about the stalker. It's like relevancy is something you have to worry about if you're a touring musician.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you live or die based on how much people want to leave their house and go see you play.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's everything about your career, right? Like, do people care enough? And are you gonna lose that as you get older, right?
Yeah.
Do you lose the cool? Do you lose the fan base? Like, what happens as you keep going?
Do you feel like you're getting old? Is that something that stresses you?
I mean, no, I don't feel like I'm getting old. I guess like the only way that it stresses me is to the point of like, am I going to not be able to tour as much anymore? Because I really enjoy traveling and playing shows and meeting people and doing this thing. And no matter what, as you get older, it gets harder. But yeah, it does, it definitely is in there. And I think part of it was like the potential ending of Brothers Comatose and then starting a new project too. It's like, well, shit, is anybody going to care at this point too? Me, I'm in my late 30s and I'm like starting a new thing. And, I know from being in a band, it just takes like a long time to get anything off the ground. And, yeah, it's like, it's a tough thing to think about. And I remember thinking about it back in the day too. Like, you see it in rock bands. It's like, you got to be like in your early 20s to be in a rock band, right? And I mean, there are definitely exceptions for sure. But that was an interesting thing that originally like shined about the bluegrass world too, because it was people. You don't get like going until your hair is gray and you've been at it for like 40 years, and that's when you start to get your cred in that world. And I was like, that's a special thing, right? Like that just doesn't happen in the musical world that often. and they're just held in such high regard because it's like you've been through stuff and like you have something to say and you've got experience under your belt, and like that was a special thing to me, and I always thought that was really cool. But yeah, it definitely popped up when I started this new thing. I'm like, oh man, is this crazy of me to want to start a new project when I'm not in my early 20s and I can't necessarily go and tour 150 dates a year to get it off the ground, you know?
Fear of aspects of life slipping away, like, really seem to be in the undercurrent here.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's interesting. What's the song that you address this in? Or is it just like sprinkled throughout the album?
Oh, that one's called Old Technology. So
Old Technology.
Yeah.
Oh, so you are thinking of yourself perhaps as someday being the old technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because, I mean, that song talks about the being cyclical, right? Like, for instance, on that song, we put like an 80s, beat on it, Cody Rhodes. I'll give credit to Cody. I don't know where he's at. He's our drummer, and he's like, oh man, it's called Old Technology. What if we use this like cool,
You play it tonight, actually. Yeah.
And then, it was also Cody's idea. He's like, what if we got like an old school boom box and like put it on a tape and like did that for the show? And it wasn't until I started like looking for boom boxes, which are now like a tape playing boom box is like at least $150 in most places. Like, and I've seen them up to like $400 for like really cool boom boxes.
I feel like the writing of this song started from a sad place, though.
Oh yeah,
because you were walking through like a thrift store or something.
I was at a thrift store, yeah.
And you like see all this stuff on shelves that nobody wants.
Yeah,
and you start thinking basically,
nobody's gonna want that crappy old microwave anymore. Like, what happens to that microwave? Like, it only these things only stay on the shelf for so long, and like, and then it's like, well, they're gonna chuck it out, right? Like.
Yeah, they put the red dot on it so it goes for $2 or it goes out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of that
the
stuff,
equivalent of like the open mics.
Yeah.
If we're
yeah.
No disrespect, but like, I mean, I feel like that was there. I feel like there was a comparison between these old technologies that you were seeing and like kind of these things you had inside yourself.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you feel that way, but I do.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Guy is worried about, is he going to be put in someone's house? Is he going to be useful musically? Is this a thing that he's going to be able to continue doing?
100%. And I didn't realize that till after I wrote the song. And I'm just like, and one of these things came up and I'm just like, yeah, oh, that is it, 100%. And yeah, and you like these things that are cyclical, like, does it come back around? And is it cool again? That sort of thing.
And sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't.
Exactly, right? So this tape player is cool again, and is worth a lot more. It's like apparently more expensive now than when it first came out.
It was
like,
$39 when you bought it at
now
Kmart.
It's $500. Like,
wow.
But I mean, like, does that fit for a band like Brothers Comatose? And that's where the fear comes in. You know what I mean? Like, do we get to continue to sustain what we're doing, even if it goes, like, if it ebbs and it flows? I think a fear is always like, what if it flows away too much?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
like, does it come back? And I don't know. And that's, I think, where the fear and where a lot of the stuff in this album comes from is just like your mind going way too deep into this, because it's not useful to think about the future where everything goes wrong. But that's what our minds do.
And if you're in this music world and it's what you want to do and pursue as a career, you have a constant fear of irrelevance. Like, that's like the worst thing that can happen, right? People stop caring, or your stalker leaving you, or all these other things that we're talking about right now. I mean, it kind of ends your career in certain ways. I mean, you can always still make music, right? But if people aren't paying to come and see you play, then you can't really afford to keep going and playing for them.
Yeah, doing the gig.
Where do you feel you're at with all of this now? The album has been recorded. It's set for release.
Oh man, it's like a monkey off my back, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, do you feel like you've made any like progress on this stuff?
Oh, personally, emotionally?
Yeah.
I think so, because I'm able to write those songs and then talk about it. Or I think where the progress comes from is like the realization, like, of where they came from. Like things like this right now, where you're like, oh, did you ever think about the connection between these two things? I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't, but that makes a ton of sense. And it's all in there, and now it's all out here.
You are the microwave.
Yeah. Hopefully the cool one.
The cool one though, that comes back.
It's gonna
the
be
really
like
retro one that
hip
people
as
are like,
fuck,
fuck.
freeze it, yeah.
All the young hipsters put it in their house.
Yeah. Instead of that microwave, like, this thing just sucks, man.
Okay, and then so you've also said that like what's next is something that is in your head a lot. Not only fear of or concern with relevancy and all that, but just like, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? What are we doing now?
Mm-hmm.
So this album comes out. Probably a good question here to kind of wind our thing down here is like, what do you feel is next? You release this album. Brothers Comatose is still touring.
Yeah.
You're getting married.
I'm getting married.
You're almost 40.
Yeah.
We're on the precipice of a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I plan on touring with these guys. We're going on tour next week, actually.
Yeah.
So we're doing like 10 days.
Cool.
Then I come back, and then a few days later I go out with Brothers Comatose. Yeah. And then I come back, and then I got to plan I should be planning the wedding right now, but I'll get married after that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But my
last week's guest is playing at your wedding.
Coffis Brothers.
Coffis Brothers, yeah.
Yeah. They're my homies. They're great.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
No. It's just like the hope is that they can coincide, and I want to do both projects. Because I love making music, and I have fun doing both of those things. So that's the dream, is that everything's just going to work out seamlessly and nothing's going to step on each other's toes, which is definitely not going to happen, but that's what I hope for.
So you would tour until your dying day, as long as people were willing to pay you to do that, and if it was seeming fun still.
Yeah, I mean, it probably wouldn't be 120 dates a year, but
could be.
Maybe.
I think Ramblin' Jack is still doing 120 a year.
Well, B.B. King always did it too.
Yeah.
But he also had
to the end.
25 kids or something like that. That's a lot of child support to pay. So.
I mean, who knows where you're going to go?
I'm still youngish and virile.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah.
Keep the music going.
Anybody looking for a new band to stock, by the way?
Yeah.
That's a good way to definitely put that out there.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, if you're listening, come to a show. We'd love to see you. Sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't all that bad.
Come on back. We miss you.
We miss you.
Well, now look, I didn't
look,
want.
if Brothers Comatose and Ben Morrison's bands can coexist in his life, you, my friend, former stalker, you can stalk two people.
Check it out.
Amen.
She's had a song written about her. Of course, that's a huge honor. It's a great tune, by the way.
Hey, thanks.
And it's a great video.
I'll say this.
Thank you.
I'm going to be disappointed if in the next year she doesn't hear that song live. So I'm putting it out there. I'm setting that intention, and I hope that the universe will provide. And I hope you get many more stalkers as well. This is my hope for you.
Hey, guys. Hey, this has been really nice.
I'm setting a lot of intentions.
I appreciate that.
I'm on your side when it comes to the stalkers.
Right.
All these family members, these people who want your safety.
They're wrong.
Wrong.
Yep.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
It was really cool to have you in 2016. I remember when we had Brothers Comatose on. I was really excited because Brothers Comatose is like, it's like Petaluma's like pride and joy.
Oh,
I mean,
that's very nice.
It's true though. I mean, people love it, and they love that you're from their town, and it's just there's a deep connection with this town and that project, and in many other towns too, but in particular this one.
Yeah.
So when you came and brought it to this show, I was like, fuck, I'm really glad we got this
huge.
one. And so it's been a pleasure then to also have you come on and kind of get to know you, because in that one, much like in the music, it was you and five guys at the table.
Yeah,
we didn't really like talk very much at all one-on-one.
Yeah, it's like an appetizer.
Exactly. Anyway, the new album comes out August
30th.
It is called
Old Technology.
And I think that everyone should check it out when it arrives.
Check it out.
And now, a collection of songs from that solo album, a performance by Ben Morrison, is up next. Thanks again, Ben.
Thank you, guys.
Sitting here under a blanket of dust, wondering how did I get such luck? Once was fresh now, you don't give a fuck. I'm just getting to my good days. Don't want the future, give me the past. A time when things were built to last. Everything around us died so fast. It was better in the old days. Don't you throw me away like trends of yesterday. Like I'm on technology. Like I'm on technology. So you went and started a fire. No longer king of your desire. Sing the truth, but you call me a lie. I'm just getting to my good days. I'm a broke down black and white TV. Come back round eventually. I got so many good years left in me. I'm just looking for the better days. Don't you throw me away like trends of yesterday. Like I'm on technology. Like I'm on technology. Cell phone calls in a telephone booth. Taking bites from a baby Ruth. Trying to hold my own go-to. It was better in the old days. I'm cranking up my 8-track machine. How the hell can music be free? Wondering what'll happen to me. It was better in the old days. Don't you throw me out like I'm through. You throw me out like I'm through. You throw me out like I'm on technology. Like I'm on technology. Now you never meant nothing to me. Come back around eventually. Well, my fire keeps on burning. Don't you put me out. It's gonna burn, boy. Oh, gotta let it burn. And this world will keep on turning. Don't you stop it now. You let it turn, boy. Oh, let it go round. Yeah, you wanna cry. Don't you cry. Love how I live. Love how I try. Let me be. Let me be. Let me be. Let me be me. And if you see my tower leaning, oh, what you gonna do? You let it lean, boy. Oh, gotta let it lean. And if my mind starts to going low, don't you stop it now. You let it go, boy. Oh, let it run wild. shining brightly. Oh, you caught me staring up. They're gonna burn, boy. Oh, let them burn bright. And if my ship starts a sailing, oh, don't you stop it now. I'm gonna strap it down and enjoy the ride. Yeah, you wanna cry, don't you cry. Love how I live, love how I try. Don't you cry. The devil is dancing in my head. Feels like the devil is dancing in my head. Too much to drink, can't get out of bed. I'll do anything to cure my pain. My head aches, my heart aches, and I feel so down. Got that bad blood running through my veins. Feels like the devil is rattling my bones. Feels like the devil is rattling my bones. Lay me down on a bed of stone. I ache with every last breath. I'm second guessing on my choices as I lay these bones to rest. Acting so unkind. People see me and walk far away, 'cause the devil is inside of me, and he is here to stay. Feels like the devil has taken my soul. Like the devil has taken my soul. Running like silver and I'm devil get to me. Don't you let him get to you. You don't know, you can't see. There's a dark cloud hovering over top of me. I can't hear, but I'm not listening, babe. Up ahead are all our responsibilities. I ain't in no hurry. Oh, 25 miles ago and we're running out of gas. Singing loud to the radio, we're gonna make this last. Oh, there's nothing but dreams pushing this old car of mine. Slow going to a destination, we're just killing time, my friends and I. Gotta go, it's time to run, forgetting everything and everyone. It ain't me, nah, this ain't my style. This burning heart of mine will last for a while, killing blues with a smile. Oh, 25 miles ago and we're running out of gas. Singing loud to the radio, we're gonna make this last. Oh, there's nothing but dreams pushing this old car of mine. Slow going to our destination, we're just killing time, my friends and I. Turn the key and hit the gas. Let's light the fuse and go out with a blast, like a kick in the ass. Let's hope we don't crash. Oh, 25 miles ago and we're running out of gas. Singing loud to the radio, we're gonna make this last. Oh, 25 miles ago and we're running out of gas. Singing loud to the radio, we're gonna make this last. Oh, there's nothing but dreams pushing this old car of mine. Slow going to our destination, we're just